Hello, Allendale Elementary. My name is April Morton, and can anyone out there guess what I do for a living? Did you say news reporter? Well, what could have given that away? Oh, maybe the microphone. Yeah. Yes, I am a television news reporter right here in Detroit for CW50 News at 10. And I've been at this particular station for a little over a year or so. And prior to this, I worked in Saginaw, Michigan, which is about an hour and a half from Detroit. That is about an hour and a half drive from Detroit. And I worked there for almost 2 years. And did I drive there every day, an hour and a half? Yes, I did. And we're going to get back to that a little bit later. I'm going to explain to you exactly why I did that. And so I've been reporting for maybe a total of almost 4 years on air, and I've also done radio. So you've probably heard me, or maybe not. You guys probably would have been too young, but I did some anchoring on the radio in Detroit, and I did the news there, and I also did traffic reports. And I did that for a couple of years as well. But overall, in the entire media broadcast industry, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I worked behind the scenes for many, many years. And that kind of helped me get to where I am today. So we'll also get to that in a little bit. But this is a career that I've known I've wanted to do pretty much my entire life. When I was probably around you guys' age in elementary school, I discovered that I love to have a microphone. I can't sing, so there was no way that I could be a singer. And I also saw that I like to speak to people and I like to hear their stories, and then I like to tell their stories. So what I would do is I had a cordless telephone at home, and many of you I'm sure have never heard of this because it's pretty much in ancient times. We had home phones that had they were cordless, so they weren't connected to the cords. And with my cordless phone, there was a long antenna, and I would let that antenna up, and that would be my microphone. So when my parents had a company over, I would have that antenna and I would use it as my microphone, and I would interview my parents' friends, and it would just be about any topic, So how's the weather out there today? And it's just anything. And I would just go around interviewing people. And when I really knew that this is what I wanted to do was in high school, and I had a teacher that actually inspired me. His name was Mr. Fruitier. High school was a long time ago for me, but that teacher I remember. Teachers are so special, and they're so influential in your lives. And this teacher really was. I'm not sure if I will be where I am today if it were not for him, because he saw something in me that I didn't really know that I had. He saw potential and saw that I would be good at this. And so what he decided to do is to put me on our radio station, WSHJ. I went to Southfield High School, which is not too far from you guys, probably about 25 minutes or so, right outside of Detroit. And he said, I want you to be the radio DJ there this semester, and you'll get an A for the entire semester. So just go on the radio and talk on the radio and play music, and I get an A. I mean, duh, no brainer, right? So I did that, and I loved it. And the very next year, which was my senior year in high school, I did it again and got an A again for that year. And then I went on to Wayne State University and said, this is really what I want to pursue. And I knew that in order to do this job that I needed a 4-year degree. So I did go to Wayne State University, where I obtained a communication speech degree. And excuse me, while I was there, I did internships, and you guys will learn all about internships, which are so crucial when it comes to learning all there needs to be that needs to be learned in your career field. And an internship basically is working for free, as far as not making any money, but you're really not working for free because you're gaining a wealth of information. So in these internships, they would place me inside of local news stations, and I would follow news reporters and see exactly what it took to be a news reporter. And I learned that it took a whole lot. You're not just standing in front of a camera and talking like I'm talking to you now. In fact, my job description right now is not only reporter, it's MMJ, which is multimedia journalist. And what that means is that I'm not only just a reporter, I'm also a writer, an editor, and I'm also the camera woman. That's right. Like I'm filming myself right now, and I do that for all of my stories. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit of what I do. So I'm out in the field, and well, being out in the field, that's what we call being out on stories, out in neighborhoods or out in restaurants or wherever the story may take us. And I'm filming everything myself. And when I get home, which now I'm home because of course, the pandemic, like many of you are home, I edit everything. And with editing, I use a computer, just a laptop computer, and it has all the editing instructions and equipment and everything that I need on there. And I go through and I put the entire story together. And what you all will see on the news is maybe a minute and 30 seconds of a story, which is really fast. But what you may not know is that it took about 4 hours to put that story together, meaning I had to go out and interview people and, gather all of what we call this B-roll, which is all the video that you see. And then I have to come back and I have to track it, which means I have to speak over my video. So as you hear a story being told, that's called tracking, and it's called offering your audio to an actual story. All of that is very time consuming. And like I said, it takes about 4 hours at least to put all of that together. Now, where the challenge lies with that is that with news reports, have you ever seen the news come on late? No. And have you ever seen a reporter not ready? No, I mean, it happens, but it should never, ever happen. Therefore, we have something called a deadline, and that was when things get really challenging. And the deadline means that we have to have our stories in by a certain time, not a minute after, not a second after, or it will not make the newscast. And that is like a no-no. So not only are we putting together stories as reporters and photographers and editors, but we have to do it in a very, very quick time period. So yeah, we have about 4 hours sometimes to put it together, but sometimes we may have only an hour or two. And imagine trying to do something that would take you 4 hours in half of that time, 2 hours. And so that's where it can get a little tricky and a little challenging. But with time and the more you do this, the better you get at that. Now that I'm on that subject, let's get back to the hour-and-a-half drive that I took up to Saginaw, Michigan. And the reason why I did that. So first off, I have a quick little math problem for you guys. So if I drove there an hour and a half and drove back an hour and a half, how many hours is that equal to in one day for me as far as driving? Yeah, 3 hours I spent driving to a job, but it was worth it. The reason why is because that's a smaller market, meaning when you come out of college or if you don't have a lot of experience with television, they put you in smaller markets. That way you can build up your confidence. It takes a lot of confidence to be in front of a camera and speak to people, and it takes a lot of hard work. So you want to know what you're doing. And a lot of times if you're going to make mistakes, you want to make mistakes in smaller markets where you're not being seen by a whole lot of people like you are in a market like Detroit. But you kind of get practice in a way. And in this industry, you work your way up. And Detroit is a pretty large market. So like I said, I've been doing this for many, many years, and I've worked my way up to the Detroit market. And I'm just happy to be speaking with you guys there. So I think another question was, what is the salary? So you may think if you see someone on TV, they make a lot of money. No, not really. Once again, it goes back to market size. So if you're working in a small market, in a small station, in a small city, chances are you're probably making the same amount of money that someone working at a fast food restaurant makes. And that's the truth. You're not really making the big bucks until you're probably in a big, huge station. Our number one market is New York, the city of New York. And why is that? Because it has the largest population, and the more people, millions of people that lives in New York are seeing you. So there you're making a lot of money. When you see people like on national shows like the Today Show or Good Morning America, they're making a lot of money. I make a decent amount of money. I'm in a large station, which is in Detroit, and I do pretty good. I pay enough. I make enough to be able to have a comfortable living, but I didn't always make this much. Once again, like I said, in a small market, you're making about the same as someone working at a fast food restaurant. But, it's not about the money. You have to love this. And that's with any career. It's never about the money. You just, want to do something that you love and something that you're passionate about. And, just something that makes you happy. And this makes me happy. So, if you're interested in the broadcast media field, which can be either radio, TV, print media, which is writing for the newspaper, or if a newspaper even exists once you guys are graduated from college, writing for websites. If you're interested in anything like this, just really, really focus on your writing. Get really good at writing, handwriting, cursive writing. I know that, people are trying to get rid of handwriting, but that's something that you're going to need. It's a skill that's really good to have because you are going to still need to write things down and it has to be legible, meaning, people have to be able to understand exactly what you're writing. And also your speaking skills. If you have any shyness, I was so shy as a little kid. I was so shy. I never thought that I would get in front of a camera and speak to people. I was so shy. If you're shy, just, work on just your public speaking. If you go to church or anything, volunteer to get up and do a short speech and, just see how like good you'll feel about yourself after, people are applauding for you and all. So even at school, participate, raise your hand and say, hey, I'll read this passage in this book or something. And that's going to help you with your public speaking and help you pretty much in any type of career because you're going to have to interact with people. It's not all about video games and computers. Interaction is very, very important. So that's my advice to you guys. Just, follow your dreams, whatever it may be. It took me a long time to get here, but I never gave up. And, I say if there's anything you want to do in life, anything is possible. Just know that and just know that never, ever, ever give up. And there's help out there. There's people that's willing to help you, your teachers, your parents, your mentors, your family. Everyone's out there rooting for you and they want to see you succeed. You guys are the future and you're the next generation that's going to run this world. So I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for having me. I'm not sure if you'll be up at 10 o'clock, but if you are, then check me out on CW50 News at 10 here in Detroit. And I wish you all the best. Allendale Elementary. Woo! Bye, guys. I'm April Morton, signing off.